You're listening to The Women in the Arena. I'm your host, Paige Rene, former collegiate athlete turned leadership entrepreneur for women just like you. Each week, I'm bringing you a new person or message to help you expand and elevate into the woman you know you're meant to be. Now, let's step into the arena. Hey guys, we are back with the Women in the Arena. It has been quite a whirlwind. Last weekend, I was in LA with a retreat with my business coach and some other women in the program that we're in. And it was such a cool, expansive experience because I was by far, like financially speaking, the lowest income in the room, which really felt expansive. Because it was like permission to be able to step into a business owner that I want to be, the entrepreneur that I want to be. And that comes with earning a lot of money and being able to do a lot for the people I love and for the people in my world. It was just really cool. We went out to Rodeo Drive, and one of the women in the group got her first pair of red bottom heels for a speaking event she was doing. And it was just really exciting to be in that energy. It's like the energy of making money. And my coach said something that was really funny too when we were out there. She said when she first went out to LA, which she lives there now, she remembers wondering if she should raise prices in her group program at the time from like $297 to $397. And then she said she was thinking about that and then kind of looking around at these multi-million-dollar houses thinking, man, I am so small and the moves I'm making are so small. And I just thought it was really cool for her to share that testimony and to see how far she's grown her business and where she's come. And I also had a really big aha moment that I'll share with you guys. I get into this space just like any of us where I compare myself online. I feel like everybody in my network is a coach of some sort, and it is a huge, huge growing industry. I was like, I should be further along being like 5 years in business. And so I was sharing that with my coach, and she's like, how long have you been doing this full time? And I said, I've been doing full time a year and a month now. And she's like, okay, so before you were entrepreneurial, that's kind of a tongue twister. And now you're an entrepreneur. That's very different. That was really just a big shift for me to understand and drop the comparison game because it wasn't helping me, and to realize it's really been 1 year full time. That was really cool. And just a lot of things, like we outlined what we'll do in 2024 with some different programs that I'm going to be offering that cover 3 different areas for high achieving women. And so I'm super excited about that. So that was last weekend. And I've always read where you should get yourself into spaces where people are doing big things and making big moves. And I do think that that is the source of the biggest pieces of growth in my life. When I first hired a life coach and I joined a program with other women, and I was learning about this online world and working and watching a really great softball program operate at a different mindset and a different competition level, I drew a lot of those parallels to my personal life. I thought it was just a really great experience. And I want to encourage you, if you're listening, to find rooms like that for yourself, whether that's in an online space, whether that's a retreat you invest in going to in person. There's so much energy that you can absorb from being in those spaces. So I hope you guys can find that for yourselves too. And then I got home and I got the flu, and that was horrendous. You can probably hear it in my voice a little bit, but I didn't even record a pod last week, or none was published last week. And it was just tough, but it was also a really good learning experience because it was like, okay, if you do have to step away for a week, how can you support yourself through your business? Yes, I do have the freedom to push calls and to reorganize my schedule. And that felt really great. But I also started thinking like, okay, how can I recreate this system where I'm not exchanging time for money too? So those are some business things behind the scenes. And yeah, the flu was a very humbling experience, you guys, because I had only had ibuprofen in my closet, like in my medicine cabinet growing up. So I luckily have not been sick very often. This was just very humbling. I mean, I took a time in an outside organization, outside of work. It's so easy to default to those things, to knock things off the to-do list because there's a dopamine release, and then you just get caught up in that routine of taking care of everything else, and that's really your comfort zone. You guys, when I first started my entrepreneurial journey, I had very few examples of women in leadership positions. And sometimes when I shared what I was building with my friends or with my coworkers at the time, they just didn't really get it. Even when I wanted to create some new goals and talk about those ambitions, I didn't feel like I had a community of women to share that with, which is why I found an online community of other multi-passionate, like-minded women. If you can relate, join us in our Rise Facebook community, where you get free weekly coaching, a network of amazing women who are also in the arena, and you're the first to know about the latest offers. Women leaders rise together. See you inside our Rise Facebook community. You can find the link in the show notes. I'm really not here to call you out or make you feel guilty or shameful for the things you have been or have not been doing when it comes to prioritizing your health. I want it to serve as a reminder. I know you already know these things. I know that there's things that you've probably been putting off. I've been there. I am there. I'm coming off the week of the flu, but this is a reminder that you actually have all the answers inside of you. If you're sitting here listening to this thinking, man, I really need to start moving a little bit more, and I felt really good and my cholesterol was down when I was working out more often, make it a priority to find a workout that you like. And don't underestimate steps, y'all. You guys know I talk about this, but just getting a high number of steps each day keeps the body in motion. And I've found drastic results that have been really, really great from just getting more steps in on a regular and consistent basis. And I'm talking 8,000. Sometimes when my clients and I work with this, I suggest 6,000 depending on where they're at. If you're consistently getting 2,000 steps a day, I'm not going to tell you to get 10, right? We're going to bridge the gap and start to slowly increase those steps so that you can start to find time in your day where you're like, I should go for a walk in the morning with the dog, and then I can go later in the evening and step more often that way. Or have you guys seen those? They're walking pads on Amazon. That is for sure on my Christmas list. I definitely want to go get those. I think they're only $150. And I highly encourage you to just start prioritizing what feels good for you. And I don't want you to think about all those shoulds. Okay, I should be waking up at 5 a.m. I should be meditating every morning. I should be getting 10,000 steps a day. I should be going to work out 5 times a week. I really want you to just do an analysis of your days right now and ask yourself, does this decision support my health? What did I do to make a long-term investment in my health? And I say long-term investment because a lot of times health items are instant gratification. They're oh yeah, I want to go get this coffee, or yeah, I want to eat this cupcake. Nothing wrong with coffee and nothing wrong with the cupcake. But when you prioritize counting your macros, for example, then you know when you can fit the cupcake in, or when you can fit the muffin in, when you can make room for your latte, because you're prioritizing everything else and making sure that you get the nutritional things that you need. And so this might sound like I'm ranting a lot about health and wellness, but it's just so important for everybody. I mean, you look at anybody really, really kicking butt in their career and in their life, no matter what arena it's in, they are taking care of themselves. They're doing a really good job with stress management, or they're hiring resources to keep themselves accountable and not trying to put the pressure on themselves to figure it all out. And I encourage you to just go through your week this week and ask yourself, does this decision support my overall well-being? Is this decision good for my long-term health, right? And it doesn't mean that you can't have fun. It doesn't mean that you can't have a cocktail at dinner or splurge or any of that. But I'm telling you, it's so much more fun when you are looking out for your overall well-being. So you can always DM me on Instagram at any time or send me a message, and we can talk about what optimal performance is for you. Now, I'm not a nutrition coach and I'm also like not a fitness trainer. I just know the things that I've been able to do to maintain my energy and prioritize my health, because I know that it's a really big piece of being an entrepreneur. Like I have to be feeling good. I have to maintain my energy. Like I can't be worried about what so-and-so is saying about my business because it's just not going to help, right? Like I'm prioritizing the things that make me feel good because then I'm helping more people and I have the capacity to do that. So I want you guys to really adapt that athlete state of mind and decide like, what am I going to do or not do that prioritizes a long-term investment in my health and feeling good. Go kick butt this week, go jump into the arena and go try on your athlete state of mind. I'll see you guys next time. I hope today's episode inspired you on your journey in the arena. Make sure to check out the show notes in the description for a rundown of today's show with all the important links. If you enjoyed this, please share with a friend. I know how much it means to me when my friends share podcasts. Leave us a review and let us know what landed with you over on Instagram at Paige_Rene15. As always, your best bet is on yourself.